Today we're going to look at emotional regulation through breathwork. So this can be really good to do when maybe you're having a day where you're feeling a bit emotionally charged, or like something may just come up in your life that you need to kind of sit with. Or just if you feel like you want to sit down and work through some old stuff. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to start off with some kind of soft and long ujjayi breathing, just to kind of relax and settle into the breath. And then we're going to move through a few rounds of really intense breathing, and this is kind of to charge your body up, to bring all those emotions up to the surface. And then we're going to finish off with a few kind of cooling techniques or kind of more calming breath work. And this really can be kind of emotionally challenging. So if you are noticing stuff is coming up for you, if you are starting to feel emotional, just know that that's totally normal. And if it gets too much at any point, like, feel free to either kind of pause the video and just process for a moment, or just kind of skip past all the intense breathing and go straight into the calming down breath. But if it does get really intense, I would recommend kind of, rather than just turning off the video and leaving it, do try and kind of sit with yourself for a moment, or lie down. Even if that means just sticking on some music to kind of distract yourself for a moment, that's okay as well. We're going to start with ujjayi breath. If you're not familiar with ujjayi breath, maybe go and check out the video on that first, and then come back to this later on or on another day. And you want to make yourself really, really comfortable on the floor, because we're not going to be moving for a little while. So don't try to sit in a position that feels like you're stretching something or working on something. Just try and sit in the most comfortable way possible. If the floor doesn't suit you, by all means, sit on a chair, and then maybe just make sure you have a blanket or something nearby, as towards the end we're going to kind of lie down and you might get a little bit chilly. When you're comfortable, I'm going to invite you to close down your eyes. And before we start any kind of breath work, before we try and have any influence or control over our breath, I want you to just watch how it's coming and going naturally. And for most people, myself included, it can be really hard to not try and, kind of deepen your breath or slow down your breath. Like, it's hard to just watch it without getting involved. But when you can watch it, you get to see the pattern you're breathing right now. And everyone has their own unique patterns of breathing, and each one of these patterns is linked to some kind of emotional state. So you'll breathe a certain way when you're sad, a certain way when you're angry, a certain way when you're happy. Now, without labeling what you're feeling, again, just watch your breath. Notice how it's coming and going. And see if you can notice any emotions. And they don't have to be really dramatic. You might feel slightly nervous about the upcoming pranayama. You might feel a little bit silly for sitting here with your eyes closed, Whatever you're feeling, just notice it. And then we'll move into Ujjayi breath. So, slightly constricting your throat. Start breathing in and out through your nose. And just aim to make your breaths a little bit longer than they normally are. Don't worry too much about breathing in all the way or breathing out all the way. Just go to what feels comfortable for the moment. And in that way, we're going to let our breath guide our practice, not our mind. And if it feels comfortable, make your breath a little bit slower and a little bit longer. And see if you can aim for a quality of softness in your breath. Breathe as if it doesn't require very much effort at all. And slowly open your eyes. Now the next breath work we're going to move into is much more fast and much more intense. So again, while you're going through this, it's important to go at your own pace. If you feel a stitch in your side or you feel anything is feeling too intense, just take a few relaxed breaths and join back in when you feel ready. Now we're going to go for 3 rounds of this. And this is called bellows breath. You know, if you imagine one of those big kind of bellow things that pump air into a fire, we're going to try and do that with our diaphragm and with our lungs. And it's going to be quite fast. And to assist our breath, we're going to use our upper body to really open and close off. So what that's going to look like is when you breathe in, you're going to reach up towards the ceiling with your fingers spread wide. And look up, your chest will naturally open. When you exhale, I want you to forcefully exhale as much air out as possible as you squeeze your fists and drive your elbows down. And again, your upper back's going to kind of naturally round forwards. So I'll show you once from the side. Okay, so we're going to go for 3 rounds like that. It should feel quite intense, but again, go at a pace that feels okay for you today. When you're ready, take a long inhale and an exhale to begin. And begin. Long deep inhale. and sigh it out. Move back into breath watching. Notice any changes in your physical body. Notice if your natural breath has changed at all. And notice your headspace, any emotions, any feelings, any thoughts. In a few moments we'll begin again, and again focus on making this kind of a very active movement with your hands, reaching up, chest opening and closing, and try and sync that movement up with your breath so they're totally linked. Again, take a long breath in, long breath out, and begin round 2. Long breath out and relax and notice. You'll probably feel your breath coming a little bit quicker now. And just as an example, one of the emotions that you might be experiencing could be a kind of frustration or anger. Maybe, it's like quite vigorous, it's really hard to keep up with, and that can feel annoying and frustrating. So if that is coming up, I really want you to sit with it, or whatever else is coming up. Notice the emotion, notice your breath at the same time. We'll go for one more round like this. And again, try and push yourself a little bit past that point of comfort. Not that it hurts or is massively unpleasant, but just a little bit further than you'd like to go. Breath in and breath out to begin. And relax. Allow your breath to do whatever it wants. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how your body feels.